What's up, y'all? Thanks a lot for having me back on here. So my name is Justin. I have a YouTube channel called Titans Tube that I do with my friend Jake. You can find us, probably just key in Titans Tube on YouTube, and it should pop up somewhere. You'll see our faces there on all the thumbnails. It's great to be back on. Love you guys' channel and what you guys are doing here. It's a really cool thing, getting other channels involved. Titans already find themselves hosting an AFC West opponent and the LA Chargers coming to town. It's a funny matchup here, just because similarly, these teams, had very, very close losses, but in different fashions. The Chargers 2-point loss in a shootout against Miami, and for the Titans, it was a defensive struggle that turned out to be a 1-point difference down in New Orleans. So it'll be interesting to see these two teams coming out for week 2, because nobody wants to start 0-2, obviously. Both these teams are going to be hungry, ready to get into the win column to bounce back here. So we'll see. These two teams played last year, and it was a low-scoring affair. And if it would definitely play more into the Titans' favor if we could, have another low-scoring game. But that's going to be a challenge from what we saw from the Chargers offense week 1. So my first key here for the Titans to get a win is simply we got to find the end zone. This offense was a struggle throughout the course of last season, and it was much the same last week against New Orleans. So we need to figure things out offensively. This offense has not scored 30 points in, I believe it was 2 seasons ago. I think it was week 17 against Miami. We did not drop 30 points a single time last year. And as for the Chargers and Dolphins, they feel like they can put up 30 points in their sleep. So if the Titans want a chance in this game, we've got to convert red zone trips into touchdowns, not field goals. We did have a kicker. We went 5 for 5 on field goals, after a long, brutal search for a field goal kicker. We finally got a field goal kicker, it seems like, in Nick Folk right before the season starts. But still, doesn't matter really when you can't put the ball into the end zone. So along with the offense, what we saw out of Tannehill week 1 was completely, utterly discouraging and depressing. Tannehill has been a very good quarterback for this Titans team the last few seasons. One of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league for a couple years. 2020, 2019 when he took over for Mariota, 2021. He has put up some stinkers as well. I mean, we have seen some bad Tannehill performances, but I kid you not that last week, Tannehill posted the worst passer rating, not of just in his Titans tenure, but also in his entire career. I think it was in the 20s was his passer rating. So literally one of the worst games of his entire career. Didn't really see that coming. We brought in some new weapons for him. We're trying to revamp this offensive line. And Tannehill, 3 interceptions, and he was missing open receivers down the field that easily could have gone for points, if not for touchdowns. These receivers were running wide open, and Tannehill could not find them, could not get into a rhythm. Really held back this offense, which is very, very frustrating. I mean, this is the last season I believe we're going to have for Tannehill. We're not going to offer him another contract, short of him taking us to the Super Bowl. So very, very discouraging what we saw from Tannehill. So that's going to be a huge key. Tannehill has got to take care of the football and manage this offense in a much more effective and efficient way. We need to see that efficient Tannehill that was so good for this team a couple years ago. Another key, kind of flipping sides of the ball, is our defense has got to keep this into a low-scoring game. I kind of keep beating a dead horse here. This team is not going to win a shootout against this Chargers team. The strength of this entire team is the defensive front, and they've got to control the line of scrimmage. They got to kind of pace this entire game. They've got to keep the Chargers offense out of rhythm. The rush defense is very, very good. We gave up 69 rushing yards to the Saints at, I believe, a 2.5-yard clip. And I know the Chargers ran wild against Miami last week. So it seems like a strength on strength here going into this game. And the Titans have got to win that battle up front on the defensive side. Because if our defensive front is not doing it for us, then this team does not have a great chance at winning this ball game. So it's got to be a slow start for the Chargers. Can't let them jump out early. Cannot play catch up from behind. 10 plus points Down 10 plus points, early in the first quarter. That is going to be such a hard thing for the Titans to catch up to if they want to win this game. So got to make the Chargers start slowly, control the line of scrimmage, and keep them out of rhythm. This team kind of needs to lean on their strength, which is the defensive front here. They had a great game last week, so we need a repeat performance from them. And for my last key, I'm going to go back to the offensive side of the ball. This team just needs to figure out its offensive identity, and it's what kind of offense are we going to have this year? We've got a lot of new pieces here. We have DeAndre Hopkins here. It seemed like we tried to force feed him the ball a whole lot with 13 targets in week 1. We have Traylon Burks, a first-round wide receiver from last year. We just drafted Tyjae Spears out of Tulane in the 3rd round, who's shown sparks, so shown some flashes that he could be a very good complement to Derrick Henry. So we just got to figure out what we're doing with these new pieces and this newly built many new faces on the offensive line as well. So, you look at week 1 again. Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 2 receptions, and Tyjae Spears had 4 touches total. So 21 touches between our 2 running backs in a 1-possession game throughout. And Tannehill threw 34 passes. That has never been a recipe for a Titans offense in the Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill era. We've always leaned on the running game, ground and pound, et cetera, throw out all the phrases you want. But this is a run-first football team. And we didn't really see that. We didn't see that last week against New Orleans. So I think we need to get back to that formula, lean heavily more onto our 2 running backs here. I love what the Chargers did with their 2 running backs. Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, both had great games on the ground for them. So I think especially when Tannehill's struggling, let's go back to your bread and butter, your running game. Derrick Henry, Tyjae Spears, again, giving him the ball more, I think would help this offense a whole lot. But just kind of, you got to find your rhythm. You got to find what you do best and create a better balance here for the Titans offense. And if Tannehill's struggling, take the ball out of his hands and lean on your possible future Hall of Fame running back, God willing, in Derrick Henry. So that's it. This team needs to convert red zone trips into touchdowns. We got to put up points, a lot more than 15 if we want to have a chance. And our defense, they've got to keep us in this game. They got to keep us in every game if the Titans want to do anything for this entire season. And the offense just needs to figure themselves out, find their rhythm. And I think if the Titans do that, they will give them a chance